Hey everybody, welcome back to the 6 round post-fight show with me, Zane Simon, and my co-host, as always, back again. New year, new Eddie. Look at that.
New hair,
Short hair,
baby.
rocking the bob like it's the
Rocking the
60s.
bob. Yeah, man. Well, while we're talking about it, if anybody wants to donate their hair, check out Wigs for Kids. They actually donate the hair to the wigs and all that, so they don't charge the children to actually get the wigs. So it's the best charity I've found for it. And I'm a bit under the weather, so excuse my nasally demeanor here. I'm doing the best I can. It's hard to breathe, but Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah, Happy New Year, y'all. New year, same me. No changes
But
at
that's a
all.
nice tree, though.
Thank you.
I like the white lights. I feel like colored lights belong outside,
Mm-hmm.
and like white lights should be on the tree. It's classy.
Yeah. It's glad you get the slow twinkle, too, if you watch. Real
Yeah.
nice, slow. Yeah, I can.
I see the ornament with like it's the clay Zane handprint. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
nice.
there we go. That's right. My wife made like almost all of the ornaments on that thing.
No, it looks good.
So we're here coming to y'all just after the close of UFC Vegas 101, the first UFC card of 2025. And it was a pretty all right card.
It was a good time. And
Yeah.
I was a little apprehensive because it's like, man, first year of the card and with the fucking Apex, like, oh.
I know.
And then it's a rematch that I didn't even give a fuck about.
Nobody cared.
Double negative. But I think we got some pretty cool shit. Kind of controversial things happened.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
all in all, I had a good time. And I'm
It
sick.
was for those of us that wished to show up, and there were not a lot of us. It was fine. It was totally like fine. Nobody had a bad night. If you
It
chose,
started really slow,
yeah,
but it
there were
picked
some
up.
stinkers early, but it
They picked up nicely.
Of course, in the main event, Mackenzie Dern getting her revenge on Amanda Ribas, and I could not be more pleased about this. Not because I care about Mackenzie Dern's success.
No, because
That's
it ended
fine.
early.
Yes, because it was the last time these two fought. Amanda Ribas showed that she had no fear of Dern's guard. She got takedowns, got in top control, sat there, chipped away at Dern, and won a decision. And there were signs that this fight might be the same. She was still pretty fearless about going to the ground with Dern. And Dern did some good job reversing her early and stuff like that. But it was kind of like, okay, if you're not going to submit Amanda Ribas and she's willing to just keep getting going to the ground and getting on top of you, we might just get 5 rounds of this.
Oh, I was so happy that Dern hit that submission because
Yeah.
she easily could have just rode the second round out on top,
Mm-hmm.
went to the next one. But man, I guess it was the third round.
Third. It was the third. And it might have even not been had she not hit that submission. It might not have even been a round she won.
Yeah, true.
So, it's one of those things where it's like she might have been down to 29-28 had she not hit the sub. And then it'd be like, oh, okay, well, Dern can do a little each round, but if she's not going to win, we're just going to get top control from Ribas and Ribas. And I could not be more pleased that Dern hit that arm bar, took it home with her. And it's hard to exactly figure out how, but she has gotten better at MMA,
Yeah. I mean, I would hope so, right?
The
She's
striking's not way better.
She has gotten better at MMA. There's a lot to not like, right?
Yeah,
In terms of a complete MMA game, in terms of like championship material.
Yeah.
But like, I'm happy that she wins. Like, I root for her and I want her to do well. I want her to be great. But like, I guess in the first round, it pissed me off because it's like, you're not subbing anyone. You're not passing guard. Like, she legit spent half a round in Ribas's guard.
Yep.
That pissed me off. Like, you're a jiu-jitsu champion. Pass that fucking guard.
Yeah.
But for her to finally get that submission, I mean, what, 4 years or something like that since her last sub?
Yeah, it's been a minute. I was talking, 'cause that was one of the reasons I picked against her going into this too. Is it's just like, because I had a feeling in my gut. I was like, I think Hebish has gotten 0 degrees better since their first fight.
Yeah.
And Dern has improved. I think Dern could take this, but I talked myself out of it. I let Connor talk me out of it. Because I'm like, part of it is.
But hold on. Dern did not improve in any meaningful way that won her this fight.
No, I know. It's hard to pick out what it is that she's gotten better at. Mostly she's just gotten a little calmer and a little more.
She's less spastic, right?
She's less spastic. She's
more
technically way
comfortable on
better
her
at
feet.
anything.
She still
But
can't
yeah.
wrestle.
Although she hit a nice double leg tonight.
Yeah, that's true. But she also got tossed a bunch. She got tossed a couple times.
It's all still the game is still really spotty, but she's just calmer and more collected in the cage, and she's been fighting better lately.
What I also liked is how, she got into full mount, and she really set that arm bar up. She knew she was going for it. Everyone knew she was going for it, but she really utilized her ground and pound and her hammer fist to set it up, to make sure that arm was going to be there for her. And I thought that was slick, and I appreciate that. And I'm just so grateful that she ended it, because 5 rounds of that, ugh.
Yeah, because that was one of the reasons I talked myself out. I was like, okay, am I really going to pick Dern by decision? And if I'm not, she doesn't finish anybody anymore. And lo and behold, here we are. So
no, it's a incredible surprise.
Yep.
Incredible surprise.
And of course, I forgot to pull up my UFC rankings wiki, because we're catching up for the first time in 2025. It's been weeks. I know we have a natural rapport here, but Eddie and I do not, in fact, talk all the time.
No, only when we're narfling the Garthok together.
That's right. So yeah, it's a good win for Dern, and it sets her up for
a fucking another rematch.
Yeah, yeah.
She's that omoplata she hit in the second was sick.
Yeah,
that was nice. And even catching the armbar and like holding it for so long and sweeping with it, like, it's an excellent reminder of how dangerous she can be on the ground.
Yeah. No, she's the skill has always been there for her grappling. It's just that she's been a fighter who either pushes herself too hard and gasses horribly, or just falls into areas of the fight where she can't compete and doesn't really have a clear way out of it. And like I said, I think she's been getting better, and the biggest way she's been getting better is that she just doesn't self-destruct as much as she used to.
And I think that's a comfort thing.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a comfort thing. And a gas tank thing. I think being comfortable helps her prolong that gas tank when she's not using those explosive, herky-jerky, whatever it is that she's been doing early in her career, the spastic moves, the spastic white belt moves, as they say.
And we've got people in the chat here calling for a Virna Jandiroba rematch. This is actually probably, to me, this is the best argument for the Jandiroba rematch, is that Jandiroba has actually probably earned a title shot that nobody cares about. It's from P, simply. And like, Jandiroba, nobody cares about Virna Jandiroba getting a title shot. She deserves it. She's won 4 straight fights. But, she has a loss to Mackenzie Dern out there. It is a meaningful fight for her to avenge. So that probably makes the most sense out of rematches that Mackenzie Dern could take.
I gotta say also, I do get excited when I see the Rob Schneider memes for Jandiroba. Guys, I'm on cough medicine. Leave me alone.
It's fucking high. And otherwise, the Yan Xiaonan rematch is fine too. That was a majority decision win for Xiaonan. But it's harder for, like, Xiaonan. It's going to be harder to convince her to take that fight. Because let's go here, fight somebody lower ranked than you that you already beat. Whereas with Jandiroba, it's like, oh, well, yeah, fight somebody lower ranked than you, but they beat you. You should, get this one back. So,
and I think Dern was really based in her on mic interview. She knows the deal. She
yep,
knows everyone above her's either busy or has already fought her.
yep.
So maybe she'll get like, someone lower than her.
Yeah, she could fight, Tabitha Ricci, Ricci's coming off a loss. That's the thing, is who's coming off a win? She could fight Jillian Robertson, I guess. Robertson's coming off a win.
That's an interesting matchup, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That is a real interesting matchup. Robertson's MO is, the rear naked choke or arm bars.
It would be fun. It would be a fun way to use them both in a fight where they would probably do the thing that would be, they would probably want to grapple. Like, Robertson's not a comfortable enough striker to stay standing, and Dern would be more than confident enough to believe that she could out grapple Robertson.
Yeah, it could get it could be boring. 3-rounder. It's got to be a 3-rounder.
Yeah, definitely. And for Ribas, I mean, this is just kind of the thing where, she seems like she's just kind of stuck in. She's been stuck between divisions now, bouncing between 125 and 115, and she's been just kind of permanently locked out of the top 5 at this point. So, she's going to be kind of in rematch city too. Does she fight Marina Rodriguez again? That would probably make sense. Rodriguez is also coming off a loss and beat Ribas before. Or she could fight Tabitha Ricci or something like that. I don't know. There are fights for her, but it's definitely the shine for Ribas as a potential future top contender is definitely gone.
No, she's plateaued. Like you were saying earlier, she hasn't really improved since the Dern initial matchup.
You look at Ribas in that fight 5 years ago, and you look at her in her last fight, you're like, okay, these look the same, more or less.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to consistency, but
yeah.
You got to keep getting better.
That point, let's talk about the night's biggest controversy, the co-main event.
Well, one of them, I mean, there's also the Chris Curtis thing.
I mean, that's not I get why Chris Curtis is mad, but
people that had that go in the distance are pissed.
This is the actual controversy, not just because there's no reason you should be co-maining a fight night even with Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Carlston Harris, but usually in a vacuum, I would be fine with this stoppage. Harris got dropped a couple times. He was clearly out of it and just getting dinged up. Ponzinibbio hits hard. I don't need to see this man go all the way unconscious to know that he's lost this fight. But he was clearly up 2 rounds to nothing in that fight. Santiago Ponzinibbio needed a stoppage to win. He needed a knockout. In that situation, and refs, they know the context of fights, and they talk about it all the time. How, like, there are contexts where you let a fight go. You say, oh, well, this guy, he's more like this. I should, you jump in these situations. You don't jump in that situation. It's a subjective art. It's not an objective art. Refs will tell you straight up they are subjective about the way they ref fights.
100%.
All the time.
And you have to be.
The situations change all the time. You can't just be like, oh, this is automatically, whenever this happens, you've got to do this. No, it's always subjective.
I mean, look at that Czech Congo Pat Barry fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's situational.
Crazy things happen all the time. You've got to be ready to respond to them. So when you've got a situation where a guy is down 2 rounds and he has to get a knockout to win, I'm sorry, but he's got to knock that guy out. He can't just come pretty close and kind of get there and like maybe kind of do it.
Yeah.
Like that's just.
So
That's
I'm going to
not
go ahead
right.
and say that this was a bad stoppage, in my opinion.
Yes, it's a bad stoppage.
Harris was returning fire.
He
Like
was
if Harris was
returning.
still just defending, okay, but he was swinging back.
Yeah.
Like he was swinging back, and like his style is so weird that like I can't tell. I
He
think he's out on his feet when he's not out on his feet.
He
Like
pulls change from his pockets with every punch. That man could pick a quarter up off the ground when he throws a jab. Like everything comes from his hips. Swear to God.
Yeah, I think, but fighter safety does trump my bloodthirst. I will say that.
Yeah.
So,
but this is a bad stoppage.
Bad stoppage.
And I get it. He's not intelligently defending himself. Even if he's fighting back, that's not intelligent defense. But
I don't know. Sometimes offense is the best defense.
And but that's not like, you know, the reason we have intelligent defense and all that is not that idea is not for stuff like this. Like it's not even about that. Because refs, what they're really looking for is they're looking for activity and are you still engaged in the fight? And Harris is clearly still engaged in the fight. So that alone makes it a kind of bad stoppage.
It almost looked like the ref like jumped in to stop it and then stopped himself and then reasserted himself.
Yeah, I mean, really what it is Kerry Hatley's just a bad ref.
I wasn't going to say it.
He's just a bad ref. But that said, I am happy to see old man Ponz get an old man win.
He's only like a year older than
I know.
Harris. They're like the same age.
But philosophically, Santiago Ponzinibbio is much older.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy he got the win. And cool motherfucking comeback, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, getting dropped in every fucking round, and then you come back and you put it on the dude. I'm love to see it.
That's the thing with Ponzinibbio these days. Like, yeah, he is clearly not the fighter he was. But you watch him in round one of any of his fights, you're like, oh my God, this man should not be fighting anymore. Ponz is washed. You watch him in round two, you're like, you know what? Okay, he didn't get knocked out. He's still there. I'll give him that. He's not getting blown out of the water. Fair enough. Round three, Ponzinibbio, he still fucking has it.
Yeah.
The man, it takes him a round longer than it used to get warmed up. He used to be a guy who like would start a little slow and then really get clicking as the fight went on. Now it's like he has to almost die. But it is still there. He still has it. He still has that version of his game that works the way it used to. And it's fun as hell to watch.
Yeah, it's the Lazarus technique.
Yeah.
Like, he's got to be resurrected in order for him to get the dub. But good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. And I got the perfect fight for him. I got the perfect fight for him.
Yeah.
Carlton Harris. Let him run it the fuck back. Let him run it the fuck back.
Okay. I've got another. That would be fine. You're right. That would be a fine idea. It was violent. It was fun. Harris has every right to be pissed off about it.
He seemed happy too afterwards.
I know. Well, I think they're friends because like Ponzinibbio wanted him there to like do the, the post-fight speech together and all that. Like, so
I think
we just lost you momentarily. But the other option that I would have would be Michael Chiesa.
Okay.
Ponzinibbio, Chiesa.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Two old heads going at it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
But it would not be nearly as fun as this.
True. Somebody else saying Ponz versus Tony is
that better not be Tony Ferguson. Tony who? Tony the Tiger? Tony Soprano? Tony who?
Yeah, let's find some. Bring out James Tony back to the octagon before Tony Ferguson right now, please.
Yeah, I can't watch Ferg anymore.
No,
come on now.
No, but I am happy to see that Ponzinibbio I'm unhappy that he still wants to fight like 3 or 4 times, and he's talking about like, oh, my problems are just like little extra pressure here, a little tweak there, whatever. No, the problem is you're old.
Well, he also cited injuries and
yeah,
not
and it's
being
not
healthy.
that. I get it. That sucks.
Yeah,
But now the problem is that you're old.
You're old at 170.
Yeah, and it's just not going to get. It's not going to get better from here. So I'm a little sad that he's talking about like, oh, I want to be right back out there and in it. But yeah, there are fights out there for him. There's Santiago versus Wonder Boy.
That's fantastic.
There's Santiago Harris too. Run it back. There's Santiago versus Chiesa. There are fights out there for him.
Yeah.
I think I saw somebody else saying Santiago versus Court McGee. He would kill Court McGee, but that's fine. You know, there are options. All right. Now, that brings us to a middleweight bout. Cesar Almeida, Abdul Razak Alhassan.
Ooh. This was fantastic. This was as advertised.
To coin a phrase from Tropic Thunder, you never go full MMA, Eddie.
I don't think that's what they said. I think
Abdul Razak Alhassan went full MMA. He had it right there. And he's just like, what if I only swing right, left, right, left, right, left? He's never going to see it coming.
Yeah, no, that was that's like one of the classic mistakes of MMA. That was like you don't get overzealous.
Yeah.
You just don't do it.
And especially against a longtime pro kickboxer. Like, I've had my criticisms of Cesar Almeida that his kickboxing style is very pot-shoddy. It's not really built for MMA success. It's not high volume. He doesn't do a lot of leading. He doesn't create a lot of his own opportunities, that kind of thing. But he's still a really experienced kickboxer who's really calm under fire.
Yeah.
You don't just go after him swinging crazy as hell.
Man, his pocket presence under duress.
Yeah.
Wow. Top notch. He gets dropped, gets up. Shout out to him for getting up.
Yeah.
Back to the fence, rolling with the punches, dips perfectly, and brings the biggest fucking left hook. I mean, that's like a Pereira left hook.
Yeah.
Like, that had so much kick to it. Alhassan was down for like minutes.
Oh yeah, I mean, they tried to put him up on a stool and he couldn't even keep his elbows on his knees. It was just
that was some serious
he
power.
was out. So,
but it shows that Almeida can recover. Right, he can get dropped and keep his wits about him, get up and be clear. And it shows how fucking dangerous he is. You don't swarm him.
No,
you don't. I don't care how much horsepower you have. You don't fucking swarm him. He'll put you out. And I love to see it.
Yeah.
Holy fucking shit.
He's a ton of fun.
This is knockout of the year so far.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna hold that. He so far holds the title.
That's right.
So this is how I'm gonna keep track.
Knockout of the year, Cesar Almeida, 2025.
Yeah.
Title is yours to keep and defend, Cesar.
That's right.
But yeah, no, the UFC, credit to them, they have known exactly how to book him so far. Like, doing Dylan Budka, then Roman Kopilov, then Ihor Potier, and Abdul Razak Alhassan. They're keeping him in a real narrow channel of fun-ass fights that he can win. And I like it,
Yeah, I want to see him fight Chidi Njokuani.
Mm-hmm.
That fight needs to happen. I want to see that more than pretty much anything else.
Unfortunately, Njokuani's down a division.
What?
Yeah, he dropped him to welterweight, so...
Damn.
But they could do, Almeida versus Paulo Costa at some point.
I don't know if Costa would take that.
No, he wouldn't.
Oh, you know what? What about the Cannoneer RoboCop winner?
I mean, I would say that, but Almeida, they wouldn't take that either. Like, Almeida doesn't have that cachet yet.
Or loser. RoboCop. I want him to fight RoboCop, I guess.
You
Is
just
what
want him
I'm
to fight
saying.
RoboCop. Yeah, that's it, really.
I don't know if they train together, but
who else we got in here?
I mean, there's a ton of fights for him.
There are.
Anyone that's willing to stand with him, or at least fight in the clinch.
I don't ever want to do the same guys off the same cards, but there's Marco Tulio melting Ihor Potier on this same card. Yeah, not that thrilling. Let's see who else we got.
R.I.P. to Potier's testicles.
Oh, let's see. He's coming off 3 straight losses. I'm gonna say Sajic, but he's coming off a bunch of losses. Unfortunately,
he's always the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, man, who is out there? Got to be somebody that's coming off a good win right now.
I say HoboCop. Like, let him win or lose.
Who just... I think Eric Anders retired after he beat Chris Weidman, didn't he? So
someone's saying share a bullet. Ooh.
I would like to see Shara, but he's also got bigger fish to fry. I think who's he fighting right now?
He's already booked.
I'm pretty sure.
He just
he's booked against Michael Page.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He is.
I mean, you could do the winner of Shara Bullet, Michael Page, but they will both have much higher aspirations.
Yeah, that's true. I think the HoboCop. Aim for HoboCop, win or lose.
Aim for HoboCop.
For maximum violence.
Yeah. I will always take Jun Young Park, but, nobody else but me cares about that. Yeah, I don't actually, there's not like a one really obvious fight out there. They've got apparently Edmund Shabazian's booked to fight Dylan Budka. Where, sure, if Edmund Shabazian wins that, then go for that. That's fine. But anyway, might have to be some stuff to shake out before there's an obvious next fight for him. Oh, you know what they could do? Now even Renner de Ritter is fighting Kevin Holland. So winner of that would also be fun.
That is a big step up.
Yeah. Anyway,
either way, I'm excited.
Yeah. Somebody else mentioning Bruno Ferreira, but he's booked against Armin Petrosian. So a lot of guys.
Armin's awake.
No kidding.
He got the double spinning back fist.
All right. That brings us to a minor controversy. Roman Kopilov, Chris Curtis. And I get it. Chris Curtis, I mean, he's an emotional fighter anyway. He is a guy that he gets pissed off when things don't go his way. So I get that he's going to be mad about this. This is a perfectly reasonable thing to be pissed off about. But there was no way that he was going to win this fight. This is all record keeping at this point.
He almost won this fight?
Not if it went to the scorecards.
Oh, yeah.
No. Correct. The difference in him winning and losing this fight was not the ref stepping in and waving it off.
Yeah.
There was 1 second left. It isn't even I could have come back and fought my way back into it kind of thing.
However, there's always the chance of the robbery.
Sure, but that's not Chris Curtis's point. That's not something for him to harp on. I could have robbed you with a shitty judge's decision.
No. This is Curtis was going to lose regardless. The ref could have let it go that extra second so it goes to the scorecards, but why?
Yeah, who cares?
And I mean, from a gambling perspective, I guess if you bet the distance or someone by decision or something like that, then you would probably be pissed. But if you're just watching as a fan, fuck yeah, you head kicked the dude in the last second. That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
You know what this is? This is Alistair Overeem, Jairzinho Rosenstrike. That's what this is. Do you remember that fight? Alistair's like winning the whole fucking fight up until the very last second. He gets clobbered and like stands up kind of dazed, and the ref could have let it go the extra 4 seconds, and Overeem would have won, but he called it off.
That's what more like Ponzinibbio Harris to me, because this is that. But if Alistair Overeem had already lost the fight by that point, anyway,
yeah, true.
You know, so like, there's just, to me, there's no real argument here. Somebody asking if we know what the scorecards were. I can only imagine they.
Yeah, it was. They each won a round. Kopilov won the first. Curtis won the second.
Yeah, it was 29-28 Kopilov across the board. If they gone to
it was 19. Yeah, if it had it.
If it had gone to completion, because there's no way that Curtis is winning round 3.
Man, you really have to credit Kopilov here.
Yeah,
because he had a really hard second round.
Mm-hmm.
And he really got away from that leg kick. And it wasn't until he went back to that leg kick in the third, because you remember Curtis's last fight, he had that hamstring injury.
Yeah.
So Kopilov started attacking that, and that's what opened up the hands, immobilized Curtis a little bit, and then it snowballed from there. So I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was really brilliant the way Kopilov made those adjustments.
I picked Kopilov going into this because I was just like, Kopilov is bad going backwards, but Curtis is not great at going forwards. He's really bad at cutting the cage. It's not what he does best. And Curtis is very willing to go backwards, and Kopilov is really good going forward. Great at it. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'll pick Kopilov. That balances out to the best win probability for me. By the end of the first round, I was like, oh, Chris Curtis is going to win this fight. Like, I gave Kopilov round 1, but the last minute, I was like, he's not winning the way this fight looks.
Yeah.
Like, Curtis is starting. He found his timing. He found his range. And the big thing I loved from Curtis is that he started fighting on the front foot behind his jab, which is something he has a ton of trouble doing.
Yeah.
And that is just, like, it's like, great. You fight behind your jab moving forward. That solves a ton of your problems.
Well, he doesn't often fight southpaws.
Yeah. But that, he fights. I'm not going to buy Dom's whole thing of like, oh, he doesn't know how to handle a jab against an orthodox matchup. I get that it's more challenging.
It's not as big of a deal as Dom was making it out to be. But I mean, it means something though when you're orthodox versus southpaw.
But he's a long-time pro and a good boxer. He knows what.
The biggest thing for me was Curtis's just defensive responsibility.
Yeah.
Entering and exiting the pocket, cleaner, safer, more durable too. But like, honestly, I thought he might have got a finish if things kept going the way it did in the second round.
It was looking really great for him, and the thing was really that it was really hard for him to maintain fighting behind that jab. I think maybe the fouls distracted him too. He is a really emotional fighter who gets in his own head really easily.
Yeah.
So getting kicked in the groin, getting his eye poked, starts to get him back into old rhythms. And also, when he started doing well, it made him want to do, because Kopilov when he would go forward, Kopilov would throw less. And that made him want to slip back and be more like, oh, well, now that you're not throwing, I can let you come forward and I can counterpunch, which is much more of his natural thing.
Yeah.
And every time he did that, it's like, no, Kopilov is great at going forward. You let this man have the front foot, he will find 5-punch combinations, punch-kick combinations, all sorts of shit that will put you off your game. You can't afford to do that. And ultimately, that is what cost him going in late. Every time he took his foot off
the leg kicks. I think not checking the fucking leg kicks is what cost him this fight.
The low kicks. And
if Curtis would have shut down those leg kicks in the third, I think he would have won this fight.
Yeah.
Because just a boxing match, even with the dynamic of Kopilov wanting to come forward and Curtis wanting to sit back and counter, even with that, I think Curtis still would win that. He's still the better boxer. But those leg kicks fucked him up. Yeah. I think he might still be injured.
Sure. I mean, he came back really quick. Like, he blew He blew his leg out in April of last year, and it is January.
Yeah.
Like, that's 8 months. And he even had an injury delay in there from trying to rush back. Because he was supposed to fight Kevin Holland in October, and he had a foot injury. And leg injuries, this is the whole thing. I know it's a foot fracture technically and all that, but leg injuries are a whole thing where if you get one and you don't rehab it perfectly, it creates a chain reaction of all sorts of other leg injuries in both legs, because you have to change the way you walk. You have to change the way you transfer your weight. You do a bunch of stuff to compensate, to try to make up for that injury that you're rushing back from, that you didn't rehab properly. That's why you see so many fighters. It's like, oh, I got a knee injury, and that turned into tearing my other injury, or my other knee, and that turned into tearing my ankle, and that turned into, and it just is a cascade for years, because you start putting more weight on one leg to carry, you're gonna start fucking up that other leg.
Anderson Silva, never the same. Chris Weidman, never the same.
Yeah, once
Conor McGregor hasn't fought since.
Yeah, once your legs start going, that is the death of an MMA game so many times. I mean, Kamaru Usman, we see right now with, like, his knees get a little shot, and now he doesn't wrestle.
Yeah. I'd even say Colby Covington. I think his knees are done.
It is not time to take the Christmas tree down. It's early January 1st. It's still the holiday season. I am festive here. Come on, man. Stay focused.
Yeah.
We got
MMA Groundhog's Day yet.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. All right. Now, time to talk about one of the most interesting fights going in on this card. Christian Rodriguez, Austin Bashy. I picked Austin Bashy going in.
Ugh.
And I said, look, this kid is really, honestly, a terrific athlete with a great motor. I think he can just out-hustle Rodriguez to a very difficult win. I said that. I picked that saying, and I still felt in my heart, and said it many times all over the place. If you're Austin Bashy's manager, this is a terrible fight. You should not take this fight. Don't book people. If you got a prospect, don't book him against Christian Rodriguez.
That was my thing. He's a prospect eater.
He is.
Eater.
I thought Austin Bashy,
he's taking it.
I thought Austin Bashy was that good that he could overcome it. He's not.
You know why I didn't pick him? Bashy? Untested. He's untested. Seeing Rodriguez, he beat Raul Rosas.
Yeah.
And now he's up a division, eating healthy. He's more complete.
He's just good. That's the thing with Rodriguez. He's good and he's calm. And that, more than anything, is the reason that he's beating prospects much more easily than he beat Julian Erosa, for instance.
Yeah. Is
that a lot of prospects are used to fighters that panic and fall apart, and that is the key to how they thrive as prospects on the regionals. It's like, oh, I came out, I started muscling you around, you didn't know how to handle that, you started making big mistakes, I get to jump in and just take over. Rodriguez does not panic.
He doesn't panic.
Flustered.
He has educated hips, and it's like the old Bruce Lee adage, be like water. That's how he is with the grappling.
Yeah.
He is fluid. And it's really it's really hard to grapple someone who doesn't want to grapple. And what I mean by that is, like, it's almost like anti-grappling. Like, he just doesn't nothing, which means he's not making a mistake. And, like, you're waiting for him to put his hand here or move his hips there or put his legs here, and he just doesn't. And so you have to do something. You have to make the move, which gives him space. And so when you give him the space, that's his opportunity to skirt out, shrimp out, whatever the case may be. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
He really, It's too bad that his career has been marred by the weight misses.
But
Because
that's over with. He's up a division
yeah,
now.
well, he missed weight up a division too. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
did he?
Yeah, I think his fight against Bulgarian, he missed weight, and that was at featherweight.
That fat bastard.
Yeah, let me see if I'm wrong here. Oh no, you're right. It was Rosas and Simon. I thought he did against Bulgarian too, but he didn't. Okay, but yeah, he's up a division. He's never going back down. The weight misses. It is an interesting point somebody's making here. Chad making it at this point that you could argue that his list of opponent records is one of the best in UFC history. Like, I know it's not important. They're prospects. They're untested. It's a different era of MMA.
It's not who you fight. It's who. It's not how many people you fight. It's who you fought.
Yeah.
So I mean,
but it is like I hope this fight puts him over. Because probably the thing that's really sad to me about Rodriguez is that people were hyped about
Rosas.
They were hyped about Simon being a training partner of Duplessis. They are hyped about Bashy. He has gained no capital off these wins. Like, nobody cares about Christian Rodriguez.
You know the vibes he gives me? He gives me Daniel Pineda vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just always going to be a tough out. And if you're new to the game, he's going to expose you.
Yeah.
If you're a fucking proven, tested veteran, you might get the best of him.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like, I hope he starts getting his flowers, because I have been, even before the Raul Rosas fight, I was like, you know what? This guy's really technically well put together. He's not the best athlete out there, but he is really solid and really tough to beat. And ever since that point, he's only proven over and over again. Like I said, going in on the Vivi, I was like, you know what? I'm going to pick Bashy. I'm going to ignore my head on this and say, no, this prospect is good enough. But even then, I was just like, this is a stupid fight for Bashy to take. Like, don't take this fight. You got a prospect. The UFC tries to hand you Christian Rodriguez. Say no. Just no.
Well, he might have had the train of thought. Well, this guy, he's moving up a division. He's a bantamweight. I'm gonna go muscle a bantamweight.
But Bashy just moved up a division too. He was a bantamweight.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
How? Like, how is that guy?
Well, because he was like 19, you know.
Oh, true. He is super young.
He's super young, but like, yeah, it's just one of those things where I don't fight Christian Rodriguez, kids. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Because not only will he make you look bad, but then nobody will care. Nobody will then turn around and be like, oh, well, you lost to Christian Rodriguez. That's okay.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, you lost to that guy?
Yeah.
You know?
He will forever be just that random loss on Great Guys Records.
Yep.
The Growing Pain. That's what he should nickname his. He should change his nickname. Fuck the C-Rod. Go with the Growing Pain.
Let's see, though. We got to find a fight for Christian Rodriguez that makes some sense here. He's got to get something out of all this. Let's see. What about... Give him a fight with Alex Caceres?
I guess I'm fine with him exposing more prospects.
Well, yeah. I mean, if we want, let's find a prospect. Who's a hot shit prospect in this division right now that looks like they're going places.
Oh, let him fight Roofy.
Oh, we could have him fight. You know what? He could fight Felipe Lima.
Okay.
Who just beat Miles Johns. That kid looks like a great fucking prospect.
Yeah, I'm with it.
He's battle tested.
I'm with it.
So, There you go. C-Rod, Felipe Lima. That's a cool ass fight.
Book it.
Book it. All right. That brings us to a welterweight bout. Punahele Soriano, Uros Medic.
Yeah.
I love to see it. Soriano is one of those dudes that has just very clearly had the potential to be a very good fighter forever, and just seemed like he could not figure it out. He could not put his tools together. He could not figure out how to wrestle and strike in the same fight. He'd just do one or he'd just do the other. He could not figure out how to throw more than one strike at a time. Just be one big left hand after one big left hand. And it seems like this drop to welterweight is really working for him. You know?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And it's usually the other way around, like Christian Rodriguez, right? But I think the gap from 170 to 185 is so vast that if you can make 170, you probably should, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is got to be said, being a 5'11" middleweight, I think a lot of it really is that, like, he just was the tiny guy in the cage at middleweight. And he was, he's strong enough, he's built enough that people didn't notice it, but I think he felt it, and he was probably fighting with a lot less confidence because of it. And now at welterweight, he just seems like a guy who's not afraid of his opponents.
Well, they're much easier to wrestle. They can't take as good of a punch. They're not as big.
Yep.
They don't hit as hard. I mean, it's all upside. And he looks great for the division. He looks like a four. The way he went after the doctor, holy shit. Holy shit. That was insane.
It was great. Love to see it, especially because I picked him. Love to see it.
I picked him too.
I was just like, I mean, the funny thing is because he even admitted afterward, like, the game plan was to wrestle. And I picked him because I'm like, being a big guy now down at welterweight and being a very good wrestler, Medic is a pretty terrible wrestler.
Well, that's not why I picked him. I picked him because of the doctor's lankiness. And Soriano's a bomber. Right.
Fair,
like, he's not coming out throwing 1-2s. He's fucking bombing on your ass.
You picked right.
So that was my read on it.
It also helps too that apparently they've trained together before, several times in the past, and you never know with training partner dynamics where it could be like Soriano just comes in and is like, I know I can beat this guy,
Medic, he's 1-2 against Southpaws now.
Yeah, he's also just a bit of my read also was that he's also just a bit of a meme fighter. Like, he's dangerous from really long range, but he's very Jackson Wink 2012.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's a fun trick. Here's a fun trick. Here's a fun trick. How do you connect these together? You don't. You just pick one and you throw it.
And, like, that's his build. He's got that lanky kind of flashy kind of style. And I just thought Punahele has the horsepower to run right through him.
Yeah.
And he did.
You were right. Let's see, where does that put Soriano in terms of next fights?
Oh, Brian Battle. Let's get that popping.
That'd be a good call. Let's see who else is right in there.
After that last fight, Brian Battle, I think he needs I want to see him fight someone that can thump.
Yeah, you could also do Battle would be a really good call. Let's see. I'm trying to think who else got some good wins lately that would be fun and violent.
What about Rebecca? Mateus,
Is it
Rebecki,
Ribisky? I think
Ribicki.
he's a lightweight. But you could do like no, he's coming off a couple losses. Damn. Who's there's the secret sauce. Mike Malott.
Oof. No, that's a waste of Soriano.
Come on.
I don't
Pocket
want to see
boxing, power
Punalele get
punching.
fucking wrestled for fucking
Mike
2.5
Malott's
rounds.
not a wrestler. He's the kickboxing coach for fucking for a while for Team Alpha Male.
I don't give a fuck. He's gonna try to wrestle him.
He wrestled Neil Magny, and that's it. That's the only time.
I don't trust it. I don't like it.
Come on. Let's see. Who else? Somebody suggesting Chaos Williams. You could do that versus Punahele Soriano.
Yeah, that's way better. That's way better. Someone's going to sleep.
Or Soriano D-Rod. Is D-Rod... it doesn't even really matter at that point if D-Rod's coming off a win. Do that.
D-Rod would be great because D-Rod was ranked, right?
Yeah.
At one point. He passed the torch to Ian Gary.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, he's Rodriguez is coming off a win over Morono. So yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, I like that.
That stuff works. There are options out there. Just want to see him get established because Soriano's just one of those fighters that when he first came into middleweight, I was like, oh man, this kid, he's really powerful. He's a quality wrestler, and he's tough, and he's fast. He could put it all together, and it just was like stasis, making no moves. So I just want to see him get established at welterweight and get wins and do well. He's got a fun fighting style if he can find himself. All right. Moving on. Felipe Bunes, Jaquarius, Jaquarius Jose Johnson. Love to see it. That was one of my big things on the Vivi, was going to Jose Johnson's Tapology page and finding out that his name was actually Jaquarius Yamil Jose Johnson, and this man was going by Jose.
Do you blame him?
Yeah, I blame him. Jaquarius is an awesome name.
Yeah, well, you write that on some forums 50 fucking times.
Man, trust me. As with my name, I know Zane Simon I put out there, but like, yes, I don't blame him for that. I don't blame, but still, I'm glad that he went out there tonight with Jaquarius Jose Johnson. That's a cool move, and then he got submitted terribly. So
not only did he get submitted terribly, but he got submitted terribly at fucking flyweight while missing weight by a smaller guy in a fight that he was fucking dominating.
Yeah, he looked good. Man, I picked Bunes going into this, and I was just like, man, Johnson's kind of slow. He's not actually a flyweight. Doesn't really make sense. Bunes he's a give one to take. He's a take one to give one kind of fighter, but he really is only lost getting ground out by ACA like Sambo champs, pretty much. That's his only losses on his record of any real note, and getting teed up by Van, which I don't blame anybody for.
Sure, he's great.
So I picked Bunes, but Johnson came in. I was like, oh shit, he looks good.
He looked fantastic. He was like throwing them around, landing whatever. But like, why the fuck did he go to the ground? He had no business on the ground. And maybe he watched tape and was like, oh, I'll grind him out too. Motherfucker, you're owning him on the feet. Finish owning him on the feet.
One of the things, unfortunately, too, that I've noted about Johnson in the past is that actually the place his lack of speed really comes across is in scrambles. That is where he looks the slowest. And when Bunes got started scrambling with him, that's where he couldn't keep up. He couldn't make the transitions.
No, especially in that armbar.
Yeah.
Like Johnson was doing everything he could to escape.
But he was a step behind.
Yeah.
Beautiful armbar.
Bunes, he was making all the right adjustments.
Yep.
Stayed with it, stayed committed. Fantastic.
Gorgeous
Fantastic.
Don't really care who he fights next, so I'm not going to try to find somebody.
He called out Tim Elliott.
Yeah, that's fine. Why not?
Send it.
Good for him. That brings us to another catchweight bout. Marco Tulio, Ihor Potier. Let's see. What do we know? I missed. Which of them missed weight for this?
Was Potier.
Potier? Yeah. Poor kid. He does not. He got to the UFC off a real can-crushing record, and then he beat Shogun, and everybody hated him for it, and it's only been the roughest sailing ever since.
Hey, karma's a bitch.
You know?
He wanted to be the glue factory.
Tulio, though, he is a nice... I like his middleweight game. It's not flashy, but it is powerful, and it is consistent. Like, that is a dude who goes out there, very like Jared Cannonier in that way, where it's just like it's not ones and twos, some kicks, nothing big, nothing flashy, but just full power,
practical,
consistent right down the line. A lot of fun.
Not only that, but he studied the blueprint on how to beat Ihor.
Yeah,
kick him in the fucking dick. Like, this man has been fouled more times than anybody else I've ever seen.
Yeah, really. He's just a
foul magnet.
Really is. But yeah, just get him in there with some other fun. Find some other fun middleweight fights for him. I don't care who they are. You know, Abus Magomedov, Trayshawn Gore, whatever. You know,
yeah. I guess you could do Almeida.
Whatever. Yeah.
If Hobocop's not available.
All right. That brings us to the fight abomination. Why would you ever book this? It ended up being just barely okay. But why in the shit would the UFC book Trey Ogden, Thiago Moises? A back foot low kick neutralizer against a pure counterpuncher? I am so happy that Moises found the one low kick that blew up Ogden's knee. Because if he hadn't have found that, we would have had to watch Ogden just pitter-pat low kick him for 3 rounds to the world's worst decision.
All right, so I don't know if it's the cough medicine or if the sickness or what the case, but I enjoyed it. What the fuck is Ogden gonna do? Like, how is he gonna bullshit his way through this fight? You know what I mean? Because he comes out eating low kicks, dodging these hard fucking solo shots. Moises, single strike minded, just like, I'm gonna throw one fucking hard ass strike no matter what it is. And Ogden found a way. He was like, oh shit, I can feint and throw some key eyes out there, and then jab, leg kick, and
do his back foot neutralizer thing.
It was like it's like a poor man's Chris Gutierrez. It's like
it is. No, I mean it's the same neutralizer game. Trey Ogden, it is a mindset, and there aren't a lot of fighters that have it because it's the I'm not going to have any fun and you're not going to have any fun mindset. Like, you have to be a special type of fighter to go out there and be like, what if I give you nothing and do just enough that I can get a win? Like, it's not fun, but it'll get you wins.
I don't see it as Ogden doing just enough to get a win. Like, in my heart, I genuinely believe he's doing the very best he can do.
Sure.
I think he's maxing out. Like, he has nothing more to offer than what we see out there. He's like a try-hard. Like, he doesn't belong out there, but he tries fucking hard.
He's like, I'm not going to go get detonated by you. I'm going to throw 800 low kicks and only jabs, and you won't have anything to touch, but you're just going to have to deal, and they won't hurt, but they're going to piss you off forever.
And disrupt you.
Yeah, and disrupt you. And it worked for a bit. And then he ate one really hard low kick that just buckled the shit out of him. And that was it. Also, his bicep tore off. I didn't see it in the moment, but
Yeah, me neither.
afterward, I saw the photos. You could see his left bicep was like up here.
Yeah, it didn't look good.
No.
But yeah, going into the third, his corner, Miles Johns, he told him to shoot the takedown, go for the takedown. And Ogden can grind, right?
Yeah.
We've seen it before, but like this isn't the guy you want to fucking grind on.
That was what I picked Ogden going in, but that was like in the back of my mind, I was like, this isn't the kind of fight Ogden wins, because the backbone of why he can do this neutralizer thing to so many people is that he's good enough at jiu-jitsu to actually neutralize a lot of them. And he's not good enough at jiu-jitsu to neutralize Thiago Moises.
Well, kind of was.
Kind of was for a minute.
Good enough to survive.
Yeah,
he's got enough self-defense in him.
But I mean, to he can get on top of people in other fights and neutralize them that way, hold them down, and make them not be able to do anything.
Yeah,
and he can't really.
I mean, credit to Ogden. I mean, as much time as he spent on his back, he didn't really take that much damage.
No, I mean that's why this fight was still terrible. This was still a fight the UFC never should have booked. Like these are both guys that you throw Thiago Moises in there against Ribas, you throw him, it's something like that. You give him somebody who wants to come forward, a real bully, and Moises just counterpunching and his violence, that's fun. You give Ogden a real volume guy that's going to step on the gas and really try to punish him, that's fun. You put these two guys in together, you're just booking a shit fight. You are giving everybody a fight that they don't need to see. So I'm glad something happened to turn it into something else. Honestly, that was my biggest thankfulness of the night, is that I didn't have to just watch Ogden bullshit his way to a win.
I think I would have rather watched that than Moises controlling him and landing some elbows here and there.
Yeah. Give Thiago Moises Joel Alvarez.
Holy fuck.
Hey.
Holy fuck.
Moises has been ranked before. Alvarez hasn't. I don't care. Do it.
I was thinking of Diego Ferreira or someone like that.
Sure. That too. But, I'm not kind.
Man, Alvarez. He's a fucking monster.
Oh, actually, they've already fought, and Alvarez knocked him out. So. Never mind about that. Yeah.
Yeah, give him Ferreira, the winner of Ferreira Dawson.
There you go. Ferreira Dawson winner. Sure. Or, just whatever. I don't know. I don't really care who Thiago Moises fights that much, but he should be, I'd also like to see him, give him Chase Hooper.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. That would be fun, I think. I don't think it would be as stale on the ground as this one.
Exactly. I'd like to see him fight Chase Hooper or let's see, I don't know, Ignacio Bahamondes. That'd be fun too.
Okay.
Those are the kind of fights that I want to see Moises in. Not back foot, I'm here to play pitter pat, whatever. Nothing against Trey Ogden as a person. He seems perfectly nice, but the neutralizer that has no way to also hurt somebody is my least favorite kind of fighter out there.
Really? I would take that over the fucking nut hugger all day long.
Nah, the nut hugger, at least I know what they're doing.
Nah, I don't. Nah. You put him, Ogden, against the Mario Bautista kind of thing. I will take the Ogden jab all day long.
Batista's been in way more thrilling fights than Trey Ogden ever will in his whole career. I know he had the one bad one, but
it counts. He had the one bad one at the wrong time.
Yeah,
the wrong opponent.
He poisoned you. He poisoned the well forever. All right. Yeah. Time to get excited about Jacob Smith. Is it Jacoby?
It's Jacoby.
Jacob?
Yeah.
Okay, about Jacoby Smith
Fuck yes, it is. We finally get a fucking wrestler that can bang.
Yep.
Oh, I think like maybe 2 episodes ago we were talking about how all these standout wrestlers somewhere along the line lost the ability to fucking throw
Yeah.
heat and
Yeah.
translate that aggressiveness into their hands.
I really thought, because I mean, Jacoby Smith, I know he's had some stoppages on the regionals, but they're against lowest level cans, bobos, nobodies, just junk fights.
I love you adopting Bobos now.
I have to. It's a good term. So I came into this and I was like, from what I can see, from what I saw of him on Contender Series, there's a lot of Narulo Aliev in there. The boring blanket, like, okay, you're a great wrestler, you're a physical beast, but you don't have any other instincts in your game. I was ready for that for Jacoby Smith. And then he just came in there and he was just teeing off on Parsons. And it's not clean striking, but it is so thrown with so much power and so much speed, it doesn't have to be clean.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's how it should be. Like, that's how it used to be.
Yeah.
And we got away from that somehow with people trying to put the form over the function. Fuck that. Give me the function.
Yep.
Man,
you got
I love
haters
everything
in here
about
saying they don't like the fact that he's totally lack of head movement. Let those problems come later. I want the heat. I don't want the blanket.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Let him learn to do both. Make people fear his hands, and then he can take them down. You know?
Yeah. Or like develop that overhand to where you're dipping your head as you're throwing it.
I'm just glad to see, like, Preston Parsons is not a great opponent. So go out and treat him like he's not a great opponent. He's good enough to be in the UFC, to be competitive, to be difficult for a bad fighter, but you're a physical phenom. Treat this guy like he's just there.
Yeah.
You know? And then he did that. So
I loved it. I loved his subtle call out. It was
Dude, look, okay. You had a name, you're shooting your shot. I get that. But like, Bilal Muhammad's not going to be champion by the time you get your title shot. You could get your title shot tomorrow and Bilal Muhammad wouldn't be champion. That's a waste of time, man.
But I like it though, because it wasn't like he didn't say that's what he wants as his next fight. He's just letting the champion know, like, knock, knock.
I know, but like that makes sense when your champion's Anderson Silva. That's when it's like, oh, knock, knock. You're gonna be there in 2 years, and I'm knocking on the door. Knock, knock, Sultan to Shavkat Rachmanov. Okay, like it's not gonna be Bilal.
I don't hate it.
It's not gonna be Bilal. You're gonna be knocking on that door, and you'll be like, "Where's Bilal?" They'll be like, "Bilal don't live here anymore." You know, I'm still getting his mail, but he doesn't live here. This isn't that house.
No, I see. I understand what you're saying, but I still appreciate the sentiment. You know.
Yeah, sure.
He directly called out the current champion.
Yeah.
Not to fight him, but let him know that's his aspirations.
All right. For that, Ernesta Karaskaite beat Nicole Calari, and fine win from Karaskaite. She's a really fun action fighter. Really frustrating performance from Calari, who needs to learn how to finish takedowns. Like, she has great entries, great, really well timed, gets in deep on the hips, does not know how to drive through or change angles on a takedown for shit. Like, Dom was like, oh man, Karaskaite is doing such a good job defending these takedowns. I was like, no, Calari is hitting her hips and then driving her knees straight to the ground and stopping her momentum dead. That's the problem. She's
But on the same token, Ernesta did hit some beautiful sprawls out there.
She hit some good sprawls after her opponent already stopped her momentum herself dead. Like, it's not bad.
I didn't think it was that bad of a performance from Calari.
Well, it's not. That's the thing, is it could have clearly been a win had she been able to actually fight through for those takedowns that she got super deep on and then stalled out. Like, she could have won this fight. It was in hand.
Yeah, true.
And she let it slip away because she doesn't know how to finish a double leg or how to turn the corner when you stall out. Like,
not many people in that division do, if I'm going to be fucking quite honest about it.
I know. But she's got the physicality to do it. She actually,
I thought she did exceptionally well for being at a striking disadvantage, technically, and a size disadvantage with the reach.
Yeah.
I think she did exceptionally well for what was in front of her, but Ernesto is a machine.
I will agree with the people saying that Kari should go up to women's bantamweight. She's huge, and that division, for a striker like her, she could run through it. Like what? You put Ernesto Kari with her striking right now in a kickboxing match with Juliana Pena, who wins?
Well, Pena will take her down.
No, but in a kickboxing match.
No. You put her against anybody in a kickboxing match, and Ernesto has a good chance.
No, there are like 5 fighters at the top of women's flyweight that she's not a good enough kickboxer to face. Women's bantamweight, there's not one. That division is begging to be run through by a halfway competent striker. And she's like 5'9".
Nah, you got Kayla Harrison out there. Fuck that. Fuck that.
Kayla Harrison could like barely beat her last opponent.
Yeah, but
she
if
does
you're
no damage,
you're letting Calari get those entries on you.
I know.
Harrison's gonna break your fucking arm.
She's gonna certainly lay on your arm. I don't know. She might.
I don't know.
Break it.
I think she'd fucking snap her arm.
I'm just saying, women's flyweight, Kari I could easily see her just topping out at the edges of the top 10.
Nah, I disagree, man. I think you stay right here at flyweight where you got a bunch of people that are willing to stand with you. That's where you stay. People that will give you the fight you want.
But there's like 1.5 people at women's bantamweight that can wrestle. You named one of them, and the other is the champ, and she's only can barely do it. You know?
Yeah, but if you want to be the champ,
she's never gonna be the champ at 125.
She's probably never gonna be the champ anyways. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but she could get a title fight at women's bantamweight.
I think she can get a fight at flyweight too.
I will be shocked. This was a fine performance, but she went to a split decision with a woman who was at a huge striking disadvantage. You said it yourself.
Yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves regardless. Like, I don't even know why we're talking about the top of divisions. What are we? I'm the one on the call medicine, Zane.
Yeah, I'm just saying she's huge. I agree with the people saying she should go to women's bantamweight.
I guess I don't care where she goes.
Fair enough. Let's move on. Bruno Lopez, Magomed Gadzhieslov.
Oh, man.
Slop light heavyweight fight.
I hope I never have to watch Lopez fight again.
I hope I never have to watch either of them fight again.
How are you going to be boring at 205?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not here for it. You want a wall install in 2025? Chase takedowns? Nah.
As long as I never have to hear anybody sell Gadzhieslov's K1 championship kickboxing when he won an amateur title as a teenager and then moved on to Sambo and whatever else he does. I don't want to hear about
small. He looks small for 205.
I
don't think he has any fat to cut. I don't know if he could make 185, but I don't think 205 is where he belongs. Or maybe the UFC isn't.
Bruno Lopez used to be a welterweight.
Who, Lopez?
Yeah.
Good God.
Right?
Did he get stung by a bee? What happened?
Yeah, he must have been the slowest welterweight on the face of the planet, I'll tell you.
Man, this was terrible.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Fatima Klein, Victoria Dudikova. Good showing from Klein. She is a ton of fun. Scrambles like crazy.
Yeah.
I'm still not entirely convinced by her physicality, but this was a great showing that she will just keep going and going and going and scrambling, and she will keep fights tough. And at 120 or 115, she's not at the huge size disadvantage she was at 125. So
Yeah, no, I love her scramble ability. It's instant, you
yeah.
know. Poor Dudakova. It's like she had one path to victory here, and that just happens to be somewhere where Klein just excels.
I mean, she did a lot of volume kickboxing in her MMA career too, but she always wrestles and grapples, and she was never going to avoid it, and she wasn't going to win it.
Yeah, that's tough. And yeah, she did slap her coach.
Yeah, do we know why?
I have no idea. She was pissed about something.
I didn't see her slap her coach, but I do feel that many MMA coaches and corners deserve to be slapped. So I hope it was a good reason. I hope they told her that like Klein can't grapple or something going into the fight, or something else stupid.
Or maybe they were like, "Get up,
yeah,
just stand up."
Exactly. Oh, okay. Apparently, she was pissed that he didn't go to and like help pick her up after the fight or something. Whatever. Typical MMA bullshit. But get Fatima Klein in there with Piera Rodriguez. That'd be fun.
Sure.
Really, just anybody. So.
Oh man, right. Who's married? Who's Julia Budd married to?
Oh God. Damn it.
It's escaping me.
Lance Gibson.
Remember when Lance Gibson slapped the shit out of Julia Budd in her corner in the Bellator fight? He's like, "Wake up."
Yeah. Look, I don't need to see so many fighters dating each other. It's just weird, y'all. All right. Moving on, finally, lightweight bout. Nurullo Aliev, Joe Selecki, the most obvious what was going to happen fight out there. Yeah. Aliev is a huge beast. Selecki is a grappler who doesn't have the physicality to hang with UFC level fighters.
He tried.
I
even gave him the third round.
Yeah, no, I didn't give him that round, but he did finally realize at the end of the fight that maybe going after your opponent and not just letting him run you over all the time is the way to win. And hey, it almost worked.
He did have some triangle attempts that were relatively close, I guess.
I mean, Aliev is a blanket. Like, if you're not trying to triangle this man, you're not, what are you doing? Like, he's just going to get in your guard and lay on you. You better have something ready.
Man, Aliev did the lamest version of the Rampage slam out of a triangle. He picked him up like an inch off the ground because Selecki had his leg.
Yeah.
But it fucking worked.
He's huge, Aliev. Like, they're standing, facing each other. And it's like, there's Joe Selecki, and then there's like a guy his size with another guy his size on his back, like hugging him. It was just like that extra back mass on Aliev. Huge dude. So, I don't really. It's whatever. All right. On that note, though, we're going to wrap it up. We'll have a little bit of bonus content coming at you here in just a minute. Unless you're feeling too poorly. I don't want to press you too hard.
No, let's fucking roll.
So for those of you subscribers, we'll be dropping a little bit of bonus content on our Substack later. You can subscribe on the MMA Vivian 6-round Substack. Find me on Twitter at the Zane Simon. Find Eddie on Twitter at the Eddie Mercado. Find me on Blue Sky at Zane Simon. Find Eddie out trotting the halls of academia.
Find me at the Brawlers Ball. I'll be commentating January 25th at the Rivers Casino in Portsmouth, Virginia. Rampage Jackson will be in the house. So if you're in VA, check it out January 25th. Rivers Casino, Rampage Jackson.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.